And welcome back, everyone, to part 3 of What If Goku actually landed on King Kai's planet. Last time, Goku had continued his travels throughout the universe, growing stronger, learning different techniques, all in preparation to basically right one of the not cosmic errors of the world, but really help the world and universe in terms of balance by, right now, taking care of Frieza. He acknowledges, though, that his power isn't where it needs to be at this point, but with the help of other Saiyans, other individuals who might be able to aid him, it might be able to get there. So, when Raditz showed up on planet Earth, he met with the other Z fighters. Now, should note, as I said, that individuals like Krillin, Tien are actually strong enough to go toe-to-toe and even beat at least Raditz. Yamcha, though, probably isn't. I wouldn't say Yamcha's weaker here. He's just nowhere near on the same level as Krillin and Tien, just because of the nature of how Yamcha operates as a person. I'd put him probably closer to, like, he probably still trained and got stronger. He just wasn't able to really compete on the same level as, say, them. So I'd put him more like closer to like a 500, which still would be impressive for Yamcha at the time. And Chaozu, given the fact he trains a lot with Tien, is probably also stronger here than he is in the original. But point being, Goku met up with Raditz, scared the ever-loving piss out of his brother, and then said, okay, cool, let's go talk to Vegeta and Nappa. And sure enough, instant transmission, boop, hi everyone, ah! And so we catch up to that meeting. On insert random planet here. I actually don't know what planet they were on, but it is insert random planet here. And so Vegeta and Nappa, Raditz, and Goku are back together. Now, Vegeta is dubious. Like, he is made aware of Kakarot. He's made aware of Goku, but he hasn't met him. He wasn't even really listening. I mean, he did hear some of the stuff over the scouter, but he's left. No, not left wanting is not the right term. He's not yet. He's hardly convinced. Now, that said, should note that the question of does Vegeta actually know how strong Goku is in question, because we know that the scouters have communication devices on them, but I don't know if, say, like, recorded data can just be moved from scouter to scouter. Like, hey, you want to know how strong this guy is? I saved the power level. Boop, there it is. Send. I don't know if scouters do that. As far as I know, scouters don't do that. They're kind of more individualistic that way. But that being said, Vegeta and Nappa at least heard what Goku was saying to Raditz, and so he's not buying it. Kakarot, so we finally meet. Well, I understand you've grown quite a bit stronger than your brother. Not that is very hard to do to begin with. Hey, it's all right, right? No, we'll get you there, bro. No worries. Look. You've heard of me. So I take it your scouters have recorders. Of course, we were listening in the whole time. And I have to say, you being stronger than Raditz is one thing. You being stronger than me, Raditz, I think you will let the hysteria of your younger brother surpassing you get the better of you. No, Vegeta, it's not like that. He truly is. He's stronger than you. It's like, please, your lower class brother it might be strong. It may have been able to surpass your dinky. Yeah. Vegeta saying dinky would be your dinky power level. No, your pitiful power level. But I am a super elite, the prince of all Saiyans. It'd be impossible. It is stupid low class like yourself to be able to surpass me. Hell, I doubt he's even stronger than Nappa. Oh, come on, Vegeta. Give your brother some credit. Give Kakarot some credit. He was able to surpass Vegeta, Nappa, or Radzi's lousy 1200. And Rad's class like, I'll have you know my power level is actually 1500. And sure enough, oh well. So I'll take back what I said. You're at least stronger than a Cyberman now. Of course, don't let one grab onto you. But still, there's no way I'm going with this ridiculous idea. Why is it ridiculous, Vegeta? Because as strong as I am, even if I went full ape, I wouldn't even be able to come close to Frieza's power level. That's just the facts. The only way to take over Frieza is to continue to just conquer and get stronger. We don't have to conquer in order to get stronger. We can train. I know places we can train. It's not that hard. It's like, please, like someone like you could ever know how to surpass Frieza. And he can just see, and again, Goku's not actually flexing his power right now, but he's like, I need. And he's just thinking to himself that he's not going to listen. This guy's too stubborn. The only way to convince him is a Saiyan way. I was like, but he says, I'll grant you. I haven't even scanned your power level yet, but I can grant you've already clearly got the stronger the meter than your brother. So I'll tell you what, if you could beat Nappa here to spar, or at least in a fight, I'll at least hear you out, and I promise to go easy on you, Kakarot. To which Goku just looks and was like, no, not him, you. Excuse me, you and me head to head. I win. You actually listen to what I have to say, and not just write it off. Actually listen. I gotta give you credit. That Saiyan pride of yours. You may act noble, but that Saiyan pride of yours is still intact. Absolutely wanting to fight the strongest. All right, I'll indulge you, Kakarot. I'll try not to go too hard on you. No, I suggest you go all out from the start. And I was like, you really... I was like, don't you, Martin? It's like, don't think of me and take me lightly, Kakarot. He just disappears, and Goku just... Boom! And Goku, again, not going all out. But he is doing more than what he did against Raditz. He's probably going about... You guys said about, what, 10% last time? For his full power. Here, he's going at least 20, 30%. And again, Goku's training King Kai for so long, he can pretty much calc his power level pretty well, I'd imagine. Just boom, just boom, just grabs him, just boom, boom, boom. You get that like the sonic boom, 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 boom. And then just grab, and Vegeta's like, you're definitely fast, I'll give you that. But fine, you want my full power? Here it is! Powers up. Which admittedly isn't that big of a boost. He started at 16,000, went to 18,000. Which, I mean, look, it's 2,000 nothing, but, I mean, if he has full powers, like, say, more like 20,000, then we could have really been talking about a real, like, power-up. But whatever. So, it's like, really? Is that all you got, Vegeta? It's like, don't, I told you not to mock me! And then Kakarot just, boom! Just gets a gotcha. You son of a... And then Goku just, boom! Just kicks, boom! This don't make this any look. I think we can continue doing this, or we can stop. It's pretty obvious I'm strong. I think we can both agree I'm stronger than you, and I'm not even going all out right now. What? You asked me to go all out, yet you're holding back? Who do you think you are, Kakarot? Like, fine. You want? It's like, fine. If this is the only way you're gonna understand it, you want my full power, then here. And then he just powers up, and then you get the sky. Both their scars eventually blow up, and even Raditz keeps his scatter intact. But it's like after a while, they're like, nope, because I think their scars probably could have calced that power level, but again, because of how fast it was increasing, that's why it broke. So as he went, and then Raditz actually gets the power level. And just beep, 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 beep. Raditz, your scout is still working. What does this power level say? Raditz, you fool! What does it say? 100,000. That can't be. I'm not. My highest power level is 18,000. How can he be that strong? I told you. Look, I've already told you. I've been training. I've been training for a long time, and I want us to grow together, work together. We can take back. We can get rid of Frieza for good. We can avenge everyone who's fun. And Vegeta is in part hearing this now. It's like, because now he's got that scar must be broken. No, it's not. It's not. And so Vegeta's at least acknowledging the power level. Like, there's no freaking way he's this strong. How the hell? But that damn ego and pride. You screw the hell with you, Kakarot. And just someone's like, what? What are you doing? Oh no! And Goku just looks down. Now we'll see who's the real. Who's the real Strongest among us. Triple Kaioken! Or he just says a triple Kaioken. Because Goku can sense his powers. Like, okay, he did surpass me now. Now, if I looked at the moon I made, I could easily surpass him next. And I don't think he's quite forward thinking on this, and that's kind of in his head. Goku's kind of like, he didn't think this through. Vegeta's kind of blinded by egotistical rage at the moment, which would certainly be in character for Vegeta up until Boo, up until he died. Because, man, did Vegeta let his ego get the better of him. That pride cometh before the fall, or in this case, fall cometh because of pride. Anyway, Vegeta just goes, and goes just, what? It's like, all right, is that, and Goku's like, really? All right, fine. He said, boom, just starts like, boom, blood rates the blast. Goku just goes times 4 just to be safe. Pretty much more than double Vegeta's power now. Just boom. And to which Goku just looks at him and says, okay, are we done? Like, Goku's now just kind of like fed up. Like, I like a good fight as much as the next Saiyan, but this is stupid. This is ridiculous. It's like, ew. And by the way, and he just holds his hand up and he's kind of like just literally spanking a child's bottom right now. Just like, and by the way, Vegeta, did you take into consideration as his tail floats up that I haven't looked at that moon yet? I wonder if I were so much stronger than you in base, what would happen if I looked at the moon? Vegeta again just like, and Vegeta finally just comes out and just goes back in and transforms into his normal state. So are we done now? And Vegeta's like, look, Vegeta, I don't care if you're stronger than me. Hell, I'd really like it if you grew stronger than me. I love a great rival. But but right now I'm the stronger of us. And that's just a fact that's just a fact of life. That's something you're gonna shut up, dude. It's like, when are you gonna stop? You can't beat me. And it's like, damn it! How did you get this strong, Kakarot? How? It's like, I've been trying to tell. I told you this already. And they just don't have a shot. I just tell Vegeta. Until Raditz and Nappa even Nappa's like, okay, he's way stronger than us. So I actually have to kind of like finally just smack Vegeta a bit. Like, what did you do? Are you did you? It's like, sorry, you were getting hysterical, Vegeta. But are you good now? It's like, he's fine. He's still angry. He's like, almost seeing red, but now the red's kind of fading out. It's like, how did you get so strong, Kakarot? And Goku's like, well, at least he's finally seems to be calmed down, at least a little bit. And so Goku looks at Vegeta and says, I told you, I've met someone who was raised by someone who was able to teach me a lot of things. And I learned from a lot of other individuals, too. We can grow strong enough to beat Frieza together. But we can't do it separately like this. So come on, what do you say? I can teach you the stuff my sensei taught me. He's like, Goku! And like, Goku, you shouldn't teach them everything I taught you. I was like, look, look, I know they're your people, and I know Raditz is your brother, but they've been conquering and destroying for decades now. People don't, maybe there is good in them. I'd like to believe there's good in almost everyone in the universe, but that doesn't mean you just transform overnight. If you're going to teach them, just be wary of that fact, Goku. And it's like, I understand, Dad. No worries. I'm not going to show him everything. And so Vegeta's like, look, we train, we beat Frieza, and then if you want to come after my head again, we can do this over again. But until Frieza's gone, truce? And Vegeta's like, well, fine. We'll take your... And Vegeta just hesitates. We'll take your lead for now, Kakarot. But I hold you to that. When Frieza is gone, his empires crumble. I will be the one who takes control. I will be the one who rules everything. It's like, you are, and it's like, Goku's like, if that's what you want to take over Frieza's whole shtick, that's fine. And like, better in your hands than probably his at any rate. But because Goku knows about it, he knows about that entire operation, and it's like, all right, fine. But I'll be, or at the very minimum, Goku's like, He's like, you want it? Fine, but we'll talk more about that when we beat Frieza. So how am I supposed to do this? And so the training of Vegeta, Raditz, and Nappa begins. And it's a good point King Kai brings up. Can't teach him anything. Raditz, maybe, because Raditz, I think, has the most... I mean, technically, Vegeta had the most good potential, but at least at this point in their lives. Because Raditz is family, I think Goku could feel confident trusting him in that power. But more to the point is that they are... Where they're going to train, because King Kai's like, you're not bringing him to my planet, Goku. That's for not bringing him home. That's for certain. It's like, no, don't worry. I got a couple other places we could try. And so, he brings them in. Now, Goku has used the Hyperbolic Time Chamber at least once so far, but he probably has at least one other time to use it. But also being raised by a Kai means he might have a different amount of times to use, because they never actually specify why at least the original Hyperbolic Time Chamber, why you could only use it two times in your lifetime. Obviously, when Dende became the Guardian, that rule kind of went out the window, and especially in Super, they could just constantly go in there and train. And now, granted, Goku did die and come back, so that might have been part of why he was able to do that, and then Vegeta died and came back, but I don't know. It's clear Dende had upgraded the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. We just don't know to what extent he had upgraded it to, or why Kami never actually upgraded it. Though speculation would be he was probably too old, because Kami was apparently not old enough to do the whole hidden potential unlock that Guru can do. Either way, their training commences, and Goku is like, all right, I'm gonna take you some places. All right, and then Kami just senses the coming. He's like, Goku, and who are friends of you, new friends of yours? Yeah, these are the Saiyans. Like, the Saiyans, yeah, and you bring them to my lookout. It's like, Kakarot, what's this Namekian doing here? Oh, Kami's the guardian of Earth. He guards and he stops himself. It's like, I probably shouldn't tell them about the Dragon Balls. But he may not seem like much. Trust me, he's stronger than he looks. Although he's not going to be the one training us. No, where we're going somewhere different for training. And he shows them first the Pendulum Room and how it can send to different points in time. And Vegeta's like, oh, this looks like Planet Vegeta, but at different point in history. And so he sees, other Saiyan warriors that go ape all of a sudden. And they're training. And then, boop, he pops back. What was that, Kakarot? It's like, the Pendulum Room. It lets you train. It can temporarily send you to a different point in time. It doesn't affect the time stream at all, and therefore you can fight stronger opponents from the past. I see. That's an ingenious way of training. And when you had your fill of that, we'll use that as our daily routine. However, there's something else we have available too, but there's a catch with it. I'll tell you more about that when we get to me showing some techniques later on. And so they spend some time there. Now, someone brought up in the last part that the Scouters were on, and that's how, first off, Vegeta and Nappa found out about the Dragon Balls, but also how Frieza apparently found out about Dragon Balls. I don't remember that quite being the same thing, but how did Frieza learn of the Dragon Balls? Was that through Vegeta's Scouter? Frieza learned about Dragon Balls through the Scouter while spying on Vegeta and Nappa's conversation about them. Okay, so here's the thing. Because two of those Scouters blew up, I don't know if Frieza is going to know much about this plan right now. But because the Scouters are on, he probably did. They probably clocked the power level for what's worth. And Nappa and Radz's power Scouter is still technically on, and they still have that one. So I think Frieza maybe hears about this, and yeah, it would add up if they didn't hear about it from the Scouters beforehand. Maybe he heard about it afterwards, or through Radz's Scouter, I should say. And so they spend, but it takes a little while to get to Earth still. It's like, so a Saiyan survived, did he? And oh no, they're planning a coup. Oh well, I suppose then it's time to do what I've been meaning to all these years. Time for me to wipe out some monkeys. And so he goes and he heads to Namek. Now they've been training on Earth. And so they've been training for a little while at the Pendulum, at like maybe a week or two. Krillin and Tien and like the Z Fighters also actually make it up to the lookout, and they sense the other power levels there, and they actually do start training in the Pendulum room with Nappa and Vegeta, and they're actually starting to build up some power too. Surprisingly, it's like, huh, the human. Well, I'll give you credit. You humans would actually make you. He looks at Krillin and Tien specifically. You wouldn't make half bad Saiyans, all things considered. Though he's probably a bit more low class. Yeah, that's Yamcha for you. Hey! I was like, Goku! Goku! I was like, huh? Hold on. What's up, Dad? He's like, he's coming. It's like, what? What do you mean? Wait, who? What? It's like, Frieza! He's coming. He's just coming. What do you mean? It's like, I don't know how, but he must have found out you were on. He must have found out about what you're doing. I'm trying to. I can't wreck my brain around. It's like, wait, what? Frieza's and Goku's like, Frieza's coming. I don't know how could he found out? And then that's when Vegeta and Nappa was like, oh, even Vegeta's like, damn it, the scouters. He must have caught wind of what you were saying, what was being said before they blew up. I was like, well, but and then he rests. Also, and they see Nappa, Raditz, the scouter. Huh? Oh no! It's like, damn it, Nappa, Raditz! It's like, it's all right. We barely even started. We might be a bit stronger, and even in 2 weeks, I could see them being like, maybe Vegeta's hit the 20,000 mark. Raditz is easily maybe a 3,000 without too much difficulty, I think. Nappa's maybe cruising. Nappa's full power is still not completely known, but I believe it's around, at least I estimate, around like 7.5 thousand, because the only power level we have is 4,000, but we know he actually does power up against Goku too. Goku was still stronger, but the gap was cleared a bit. So almost 8,000 makes sense. Now I'd put Nappa maybe at around 8.5, 9 maybe. It's been 2 weeks, but the Pendulum room's pretty intense, to be fair. And maybe like Tien is like hitting 2,000, Krillin's hitting maybe like, I don't know, 1,800, something like that. Nothing major, but they've gotten a little bit stronger, certainly. It's like, my guess, if I were to estimate based on his trajectory, you've got 3 days, which you might not think is a lot of time, but when you have a time chamber, yeah. It's like, 3 days? Oh, man. Or wait, 3 days from today? 3 days your time, maybe. Okay, 4 days, whatever. In that span of time, you'll show him. Damn it. I thought we had more time. But I guess not. All right, then. It's time for me to show you the base technique. And he shows him at least the Kai. Not showing them the Spirit Bomb, because I can already tell Nappa and Vegeta wouldn't really care about that. But he does show the Kaioken at least. Explains how the Kaioken works. Again, how it actually works, it's never actually explained how the Kaioken works, I don't think. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let me look up how the Kaioken works real quick. If it's actually explained. How does the Kaioken work? The Kaioken technique multiplies the user speed, power, key for short duration, but at the cost of significant strain on the body. It's essentially an amplifier that extends the key. Yeah, but it doesn't actually explain how you do that. The only way the only thing I've ever heard about is like your blood is pumping, like your heart rate is pumping, is multiplied, like your entire body is multiplied, not just your strength and ki, but like your heart rate, all that. So I wonder if it's practicing that way with it. And he explains it as best he could, and then he explains the next step that, okay, this I was saving this for near last, but we're on a time crunch now. I'm gonna take you to the room. The room is on fire. We don't need no water. Let this motherfucker. The room is on fire, Nappa. We don't need no water, Vegeta. Let this mother ever burn. Anywho, it explains the hyperbolic time chamber to him, that they can get a year's worth of training in 1 day. It's a space-time dimension, and that the gravity is 10 times that of Earth, and that the conditions get harsher and harsher as you go deeper and deeper into there. And so it's advised that you go in with a partner, otherwise you could go mad from the isolation. And so Goku agrees. So Tien and she says, Yamcha, Tien, or Krillin, Tien, I want you to go in first. It's like, why them? Them. because they need the most catch up right now, and any aid we get against Frieza is good aid. And again, Vegeta can't argue with that. But Goku does have one other uh, ulterior motive, and that's because they'll get strong enough to be able to compete with Nappa and Vegeta on the off chance they try something while Goku and Radz are in there, and because Vegeta is so he's watched Vegeta a little bit and knows Vegeta at least well enough to know I need to have him go last. I need to go before him because I need to get strong enough to keep him in check just on the off chance he does something that's going to be bad for everyone. So they'd go in first, they'd come, and I'm sure they'll still use the pendulum room while they're, waiting. Although meditation probably works for Goku too. But beyond that, though, he probably has also kind of showed like some of the other Z fighters, like instant transmission, spirit control at some level. With Tien, I could see the gigantification technique, which would actually be really cool, giant forearm, giant, or multiple, because he can do the duplication technique too, naturally, without being yard ready. And instant transmission. I could also see, and again, that's right, and I have them, they both have the Kaioken. I have taught them, given them the Kaioken. I think, though, I could see Krillin having instant transmission, spirit bomb, all that. He's passed these techniques on to his friends. And so when they get out, like I said, I had a Tien around 2,000, Krillin around 1,800. They're probably now at least 10 times stronger minimum, at least 20,000, maybe 18,000 for Krillin. Although, I mean, if they're training as hard as I think they'd be training, probably even stronger. I'm going to use conservative numbers here. Krillin hits 20,000, Tien hits 25, but Krillin still seems to have the better grasp of Kaioken. But that being said, because again, it's training your body up, Tien would probably be have at least a times 4 Kaioken, I think, because Goku was barely able to manage one, but he could still do it. I'd say at max, Tien can do a times 4 Kaioken and not kill himself. Krillin, though, surprisingly, I think could maybe do a times 5. At times 6, but it would be similar to like Goku when he fought Radz, where it's just like, or Vegeta when he was like, But still, yeah. So he is still the stronger between him and Tien, technically, when going all out. But either way, they're roughly equal to each other. Then Goku and Radz go in. And Goku is also spending a lot of his time training Raditz up. Now, in terms of does he have Divine Ki? No. But he probably does have the secondary, like a version of Kai Ki. I think as time's gone, he has learned, especially with learning things like Ardradian techniques, like spirit control. I think he has picked up some level of Kai Ki. Kai Ki, the Ghost Destroyer. If you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player, you know what reference I just made. Though the name was originally Kaiku. And it's still Kaiku. But I loved Kaiku, man. Kaiku was a great card. Either way. Goku and Radz are training up. Goku's spending a lot more time training up Radz, but he also is training with things like his Ozaru, his Kaioken, trying to get stronger. And Goku, like I said, can at least distinguish friend from foe, but trying to control Ozaru is a different thing entirely. But again, he's got Kai training under him as well, so he's now learning to tap more into that and try to like mix the Kai Ki. Because I think that's been like similar to how God Ki is separate for Goku and Vegeta. I think Kai Ki is separate for Goku because it's not a natural part of his physiology. So while he is capable of utilizing it, it's something he hasn't really been training with much until now. Yeah, he tries Ozaru a couple times while they're in there, and Raditz just like, Raditz goes Ozaru, Goku just, counters him. But this gives Raditz a chance to actually learn to control his Ozaru too. He also teaches Raditz as many of the techniques as he can. Kaioken, Spirit Bomb, Instant Transmission. And on a break, Raditz actually asks him, why you were hesitant about training Vegeta and Nappa? Why are you showing me as many of your secrets as possible? And Goku's like, I can see it. We're family. Family. I didn't know Dad. I had to be filled in about Dad later on. But he was a good man. Dad was yes. Our father was quite the warrior indeed. Yes, he was a good man. And Mother was a good woman too. So for us, we can't be rival. We can't be enemies. We need to be brothers. And Rad just looks at him, and even though Don't get mushy on me. I'm still your older brother by a few. So older than you by a few years. It's like, yeah, but you're weaker than me. Oh, you son of a, come here, you little. It's like, and they kind of have like a brother moment. I can actually see them really bonding in there. It's like, and they actually Grad's actually laughing, and he's like, I never, and he actually thinks, I always did want to actually have a brother. It's good to have you, brother. And so they're fighting it, and Goku, I think, does finally practice more. It's kind of like a lesser god ki form, if you will. But I don't think it really gives him an amp in his power level. I think it's more a different source of energy he can tap into, say if his normal ki reserves are tired out. Like it's a complete refresher. In terms of how strong they'd be by the time they get out, Raditz is clearly going to have the bigger boost. Clearly. But I can see at least a ×2 for Goku. At least. Because his training is different than Raditz. And I think tapping into the Kai Ki and the kind of the magical elements that come with it would start to lead down the road to Super Saiyan 4, which is now canon, folks, because apparently Dalma is canon, which makes no effing sense. Look, Toriyama, rest in peace, man. I loved you. We all loved you. I mean, seriously, I don't really talk about when people die. Plus, we lost, by the way, we lost Michael Madsen yesterday, and crap, what was his name? The guy who played Dr. Doom, he was from Nip Tuck. He was only 56. Like, what the hell? But anyway, I digress. But if you had intended to make that canon, you did. Dama, I've watched Dama like in bits and pieces. I've tried to watch the first episode. I'm like, I'm not digging on this. I don't like the chibi turning him into kids aspect of it, frankly. And Super Saiyan, like, well, I did like some introductions and stuff like that. The fact that apparently at least part of it's canon like makes no sense because there's no explanation for Super Saiyan 4 and where it is in Dragon Ball Super because you didn't explain it very well in Dragon Ball Dama because yeah, it was magic. It was kind of like magically activated or whatever, but then we saw him turn into it naturally. So unless you can only do it in the demon world like environment, which there's nothing that says that's the case, then they didn't even explain that he couldn't activate anymore. If they at least explained it that way, I could buy it, but they didn't. At least it makes sense why Vegeta doesn't use Super Saiyan 3. It's a powerful form, but it's just too many drawbacks to it. And it is one of my favorite Super Saiyan transformations. Anyway, because of the whole Ki thing, I think Goku could be now not knocking on the door, but is now, he said something, when he's using Ozara, like he actually now tries, actually that could be an avenue to go down to get to it. I won't say what I just thought of, but I think it's actually not a bad way to go about it. I've only seen one method to do it in canon. There could be other ways. Anyway, though, Goku's power around 200,000. I don't think he can do a Kaioken ×20. I think he can push his Kaioken past Kaioken ×10, though. Again, training in the conditions of the Hyperbolic Time Chamber and all that. But ×20 would be kind of like what he did against Frieza. Hail Mary, last-ditch effort kind of thing. It's more likely he can just maintain a ×10 and then maybe go to a ×15 as his normal maxed out state. So he can essentially have a 2 million power level if he absolutely needs it. Now, Raditz, like I said, had a much bigger multiplier on his power level. I put him around $3,000 roughly. I'd put him at least at 60,000 here, minimum. Like, not just a ×10, like a ×20 at least. Plus, he's probably got a Kaioken on him, at least ×5, maybe more. He's got as much of the techniques as Goku can teach him. Though spirit control stuff, I don't think is really up Rad's alley either. So I think the spirit control will be more designed for the humans than that. Finally, they get out, and then it's like, you wait, Kakarot. You've gotten stronger, I see. Well, we've been practicing your Kaioken without you. I can manage a double at the moment. It's like, well, not bad. And what about you, Nappa? I can barely get past the damn first one. It's not easy. Nappa's also the oldest one there, so even though he's still got peak fighting condition, the older he gets, the Saiyans retain their youth longer to fight longer. But once they hit around 80, closing in on 80, they do rapidly start to age. So, because Paragus is an example of that, where, yeah, he was clearly an older Saiyan, and he looks it at that point. Now, granted, we don't know how long their actual natural lifespans are. They could still live to like a normal human age into their hundreds, but once they hit around 80, they're not really capable of doing that anymore. Or at least not. They lose a lot of their power. And so Raditz and Nappa, Vegeta and Raditz, Vegeta and Nappa go in for the final day, and everyone's just kind of waiting things out. Do you really think? And meanwhile, Nappa's in training in the Pendulum room, probably trying to get stronger and help out, but I sadly don't think Yamcha is going to be a big help in this fight. Chaozu, though, probably can still use psychic abilities to kind of free someone if need be. Eventually, Vegeta and Nappa get out. Unfortunately, Vegeta is very much a soloist in many ways, though he does train with Nappa a bit. It's unfortunately, he was probably more content training on his own, and Nappa probably was forced to do the same. So they actually probably didn't get the full benefits of training in the time chamber like you would do when you're training with someone. They would probably train with each other occasionally because Vegeta wanted to test something new, but otherwise no. So I think a reasonable 10 times increase is good. So Vegeta is 180 for his power level. I think he can max out to a times 10 Kaioken. Nappa is probably also around times 10, so maybe about 90,000. So Goku Namek power level saga. His Kaioken probably again probably only a times 5. So again, you have the human Z fighters, Krillin times 20 or 20,000, Tien 25,000. You have Goku at 200,000, Vegeta 180,000, Raditz at 60,000, Nappa at 90,000. Kaioken's all around. And now they're waiting. They are waiting on a prayer. They're waiting on their arrival. And it's like a few hours before the last day. On the last day, it's like, remember, we win. I get the throne. It's like, whatever you say, Vegeta. I mean it, Kakarot. Don't fuck me. I saw the KFC episode of South Park recently. Don't F me, or don't ever F me. But yeah, and they see the ship kind of enter the orbit. He's here, and so Goku and the gang get ready to take on Frieza and his forces. Now the Ginyu Force probably aren't there with them. They weren't there on Namek initially, and so because Frieza had to call them in, so they're probably still out in the universe somewhere. And we know King Cold is out there too. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.